Welcome to First Wing, a Fourth Wing podcast.
I'm Brianna, and this is the start of my Iron Flame journey.
And I'm Kendra, an experienced dragon rider here to help this second year. Just a quick note, this book contains explicit content, including swearing, sex, violence, and death, and so will this podcast. These chapters do have violence.
Yes.
Okay. We actually have some exciting news. Our panel got approved for MegaCon. So if anybody listening is going to MegaCon, keep an eye out either Saturday or Sunday. They don't put the schedule out until like last minute. So whenever they put the schedule out, you can take a look. But we will be doing a fanfic interactive panel. But it is going to be, it's not just a Fourth Wing panel. It is a romantasy panel. So it's going to be covering Throne of Glass, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm so used to just calling it ACOTAR now. And then this Empyrean series in a fun sort of choose your own adventure fanfic style interactive thing with the audience. Anyways, we're really excited about it. We're actually still figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, because
now that we didn't get approved until recently, they were so late. But anyways, that's happening like March. I think it's 19th to 22nd is the whole MegaCon in Orlando. And like I said, we're either on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. It's going to be so exciting. We can post on our social media when we find out when our panel is.
Yeah, we can do that.
So you should keep an eye out for that. It's very exciting. We'll have bracelets and maybe stickers. So you should definitely come see us.
Also, just since we're on announcements really fast, I just wanted to say that we found out that our Discord link wasn't working because we used an expired link because, what do we know?
We don't do Discord that much.
And so a very nice user pointed that out to us. And now the new link is one that doesn't expire. So if you've been wanting to get on Discord, it's started. We have a couple people on, so we're happy to gather more of you and make it a fun place to chat.
Yes, we now know how to make sure a link doesn't expire.
Okay, good. All right, now we're ready to go.
Okay, so this week we're covering chapters 19 and 20. We ended last episode when Violet and Xaden were fighting, and he stormed off to go see Bodhi, and then she said that he didn't sleep in the bed, and he left without saying goodbye, and she's feeling sad.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we start out this chapter 19 with this great line from Colonel Kaori's Field Guide to Dragonkind, which says, "Dragons do not answer to the whims of men."
Yes, and I was like, is this finally the chapter where Tairn does something?
Yeah.
And it is. Thank God.
I know when I read it, Brianna's going to be so excited that we finally have this answer of what Tairn can do.
Yeah. And I want to say again, as much as I'm frustrated with him, I'm not. Because I get that it's just the author not making it so Tairn can solve all of her problems.
Right.
But it's just like, so instead he just keeps kind of threatening or hinting at him doing something so that you don't feel like he's doing nothing. But realistically, he did nothing.
Yeah.
Up until this point, except for when he stopped Varish's dragon at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was just so happy he's finally doing something.
I mean, because otherwise Tairn could just step on everybody who's in our way, literally.
Yeah, literally step
and
on
everything
them.
would be solved, almost.
So I'm not really mad at him, but I am please do anything.
Yeah, this was a good one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so she is heading out to maneuvers now, to flight maneuvers. So she knows, okay, this is it. We haven't been able to put it off anymore, right?
Yep.
She did also, earlier that day, practice with Carr, right? Who's the professor that, handles the signets and stuff. And she had done, 27 strikes, I think, in an hour or something. So she's already also been, exhausted from practicing her wielding, right?
Yes.
That's just a note because,
that also Kaori is looking nervous. So I wonder if he also knows. He must also know what's going on.
He must. And he must also know that they're expecting Indarna and she hasn't shown up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just thinking, the whole reason I said that about the 27 strikes is if he were to succeed in getting her out there to wield more, she's already exhausted on that,
Oh, yeah. No, it would not go down well.
Yeah. There's this interesting, I've read it a few times. I was trying to figure out what exactly it meant, but Rianne pointing out here that there's something off about that orange, referring to Varish's dragon.
Uh-huh.
And then Sawyer saying, and Varish seems so controlled, kind of uptight,
Yeah.
And then Rhiannon saying it's an odd pairing. And I'm just wondering, what's an odd pairing?
the dragon and the rider.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what they were getting at there.
I think that's what it is. Like, I think they're saying that orange dragon is like a little bit crazy.
Well, and they're saying that he's not,
He
and then
doesn't seem
Violet's
that
like,
way.
yeah, they don't see under the surface. Oh,
Yeah, like that's what I got from that, because like he comes across as like a kind of an erratic, like not a very controlled dragon. Like he's just does stupid things and doesn't think about anyone else, and like isn't like the other dragons who all seem very, I don't know, put together in their.
So they haven't seen Varish a little out of control yet, like she has.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That could be all that's saying is just whatever.
Yeah, or his dragon's actually not a dragon. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They just missed the fact that dragon had 2 legs.
Somehow, all this time. I mean, he has one eye.
Yeah.
Not that means anything. He's not a cyclops. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There is a funny comment here where she's talking about how there's tons of room, right, for all the dragons, and she's like, but gods forbid Tairn not stand in the front row like the star of the show. Anyways, oh yeah, Varish gives her this look. He's excited that he gets to torture again.
Yep.
And Sawyer's like, and what's the deal with the way he stares at you? He's always smiling at you like, I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah.
And then Rhiannon's like, says, like he knows something you don't, which is, she's a very good observer.
Oh, yeah.
She's so good. And then she asks, is there some history with your mom, maybe? Some bad blood? And then Violet says, not that I know of, but he's obsessed with Indarna. So she's giving him a little something.
Yeah.
Then she also says she's been resting a lot. She can't keep up with simple maneuvers. There's no point putting her through this kind of stuff, is what she says.
Yes.
As her reason.
Right. Mm-hmm. Selective truths as she thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where she notices, or she says to Tairn, that Varish looks eerily delighted that Indarna isn't here, and he says, I will handle this.
Yeah. And I'm like, will ya? Will you?
Finally?
Please? Yeah.
So Rhiannon's is talking to her here. She was like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And, you know, of course, Violet says, I'm fine. And she's like, right, of course you are. Rhiannon does. And so then Violet says to Tairn, like, she's never going to forgive me for keeping all this from her once she finds out. And Tairn says she will. Humans have the memories of gnats. Dragons hold grudges.
Right.
Which is funny. But he does like lower his head to her, but doesn't dip his shoulder when she gets close enough to get on it.
I know. And I was like, something's about to happen that he knows is going to happen that she doesn't yet know is going to happen.
Right.
And a second later, he says, like, be alert. But I was wondering, actually, for a moment, if Indarna was going to arrive. Because it'd be just like them to just, like, not say anything to Violet until she shows up.
It is totally like them. That's funny.
So I was wondering why he wasn't dipping his shoulder, but like he definitely does. He's like, no, like something's about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so Varish does show up and he's like, no little feather tail today. She's like, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's like, how unfortunate. There will be no maneuvers for you today, Sorengale.
And I was wondering if that's why Tairn didn't dip.
Oh, because he knew.
If he knew that they weren't gonna do maneuvers, if she was just gonna be sent, like I was trying to figure out what was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him. I mean, I knew. I was only trying to figure out what was happening because I knew it couldn't be she was going to get punished because she would die. So like, whatever's happening, it's not that. So what is actually
what is really happening?
Yeah.
She says, I'm sorry, like question, and his response is, not yet, but you will be, which is actually kind of badass.
Yeah.
Anyways, then he says, warnings have apparently not worked, and I'm hereby charging you with dereliction of duty for your dragon's refusal to appear for maneuvers. You will mount and fly to your training location with Professor Carr to receive your punishment. And then Tairn says, that will not be happening. And he's like crouched in a defensive position. Rhiannon comes back and says, what's going on? And then Varish says to her, obviously her first punishment wasn't enough to teach your subordinate, so she requires another. And as the vice commandant, I don't owe you an explanation. Now mount up for maneuvers before you're punished alongside her. He's just rude.
Yeah.
I mean, she just asked what's going on because she's a squad leader. Like, just tell her,
she's
right?
just doing her
Because
job.
no one even told her before that they were punishing her. Like, no one's telling them anything.
Yep.
So then Tairn roars. There will be no punishment. And she could tell from the reaction of the dragons that everyone heard him, right?
Yeah.
And he says, it is not within your power to summon a dragon. So then the thoughts are relayed through the writers and all that stuff. Varish stiffens, and then he says, your dragon may not fall under my command, Sorengale. Notice he's talking to her because you're not really supposed to talk to another person's dragon, right?
Yeah.
But you do. So unless you like to further explore that delicate space between burnout and death, you will mount and present yourself. And then Tairn, of course, roars again. Even the smallest dragon does not answer to the most powerful of humans, which you are not.
Yeah, that was great.
And Fierge's head draws back here, which
I know,
is
I could not
Rhiannon's
remember. Yeah, I was
dragon.
guessing. I was like, is that Rhiannon's dragon? Because I couldn't remember who that was.
I think it just adds like flavor to the scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Tairn says, and Darna does not answer to you. I do not answer to you. So he is stalking towards with his head and chest so low that he's like practically touching Violet's hair.
Yeah, and she's only 4 feet tall as a
He's down there. He is crouched, but he is not going to sit on her. So that's good.
No.
So then Varish points at her and says, but you answer to me. And then Tairn says, does she? And then like the badass he is.
So good.
He lunges forward, completely bypassing Varish, sorry, whatever way it is, towards his dragon Solus with an ear-shattering roar. And then even though Solus tries to like get his head down, like, you know, to cover his vulnerable spot, Tairn is too fast and I was ready there and he's basically locked his jaw around Solus's throat.
Yeah. This was like the best thing to do because it's just the best thing to do.
Oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. He's like,
because
you want to torture my human, I will torture your dragon. Actually, no, I'll just kill him.
Yeah. He's like, okay, we want to talk about who's in charge of who here. Well, I'm definitely the dominant dragon in this situation.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
And I'm just like, what are you going to do now? Like, what are you going to do now?
His fangs literally sink between the joints of Solus's scales, right? And there's talk about it like blood dripping at one point, right?
Yep.
So he's not holding lightly.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
Varish has turned and and they're here. He sees the blood running down Solus's orange neck, and then Violet, of course, being such the like innocent that she is, you know what I mean? I would just be like, oh yeah, take his neck off.
Yeah,
I'd just do
like,
it.
Let's just
rip out his
this.
throat.
I can't deal with this anymore.
But she's like worried what would the Empyrean do to him, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking like maybe he already talked. I mean, it said that he was gonna talk to them about like what to do about the Sindarna situation.
He did say
maybe this is what he said. He was like, listen, here's the plan. If Varish doesn't stop, I'm just gonna kill Solus. Maybe he got it approved by the council.
Yeah. Or he just told them, like, just heads up. This is
just
happening.
letting you know. That's my plan.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then he says, I'm a little confused about this statement, so please help me with it. He says, only a rider can be a vice commandant of Basgiath. Without a dragon, you are no rider.
Yeah, you're also dead, though.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
I mean, right? Okay.
I don't know. That's what I wrote. I said, you're
I was
also
like,
dead.
it sounds badass to say that, except for the fact that you're dead.
Maybe he's just gonna, like, take Solus's wings. And then he's...
He's not a rider, so he can't ride him? No, he would still be a rider. He'd still have a dragon.
He would still have a dragon.
Yeah, I don't know. No. I just wanted to point that out because I've had this problem with this statement for a long time.
Maybe Tairn's just forgetting that. And he's like, he doesn't really remember the connection thing.
He doesn't care about that. He's just like, yeah, no. He
I don't know.
Could have just said, you are not alive if this dragon is dead.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe he knows how to put Solus into a coma. He's not dead, but he's also not really alive, so you can't be the commandant.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, it is a weird way
It is a weird way to say it, yeah. Varish says, fine, she will not pay a price for her dragon's refusal to attend. And so at this point, Tairn's basically, like, demanding that he, like, literally... like, totally embarrass himself, basically, and admit no power in a way, right? So in his whole, like, demanding of all this type of stuff, like, I mean, right now, Solus is still in his jaws.
Yeah.
Right? And blood is pouring faster down. And he's even trying to get away. Like, he's trying to whip his tail towards Tairn, but Tairn's like he's half Tairn size. There's no way to, make contact.
Yeah.
I kind of got the idea here that, like, Solus is saying, like, kind of like, do something. This is hurting me.
Yeah.
But so then...
I cannot imagine how their relationship is. Like, we know how Tairn and Violet's relationship is and how... Yeah, maybe it's kind of sassy, but it's, like, very loving, honestly. I cannot imagine how Solus talks to Varish. Like, I don't want to... Like, Varish sucks, but I can't imagine it's pleasant.
But I also think...
to have someone like him in his head.
I was going to say, I think that Varish is actually mean and almost controlling to Solus, which is a weird way to do it, but...
Solus seems like he's crazy.
Yeah, like there's something off with him, yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like I just can't imagine that whatever back and forth is going on between Dragon and Ryder right now is anything pleasant.
No,
between
probably
Varish
not.
and Solus. One way or the other. I don't know.
Yeah,
Either Varish is like...
At least Varish can't just be like, fine, whatever, kill my dragon. He
No.
can't do that. No. So it's still gonna work. So yeah, so finally he's like, all right, humans have no authority to summon dragons.
Yes. Correct.
Which is the whole point. It's like Violet is showing up.
Yes.
It's her dragon that's not.
Yes.
Yeah. And not even the dragon that she needs for the goddamn flight maneuvers.
No, she doesn't
it's
ride
not
in
ruining
Dharna.
her.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay. And and then it's interesting here, so like fear? Okay.
Fears.
Nope. It's supposed to be Ferga.
Oh, okay.
Is that right, everybody? I like fears better. It's supposed to be Ferga or Farga. Farga. So, oh my gosh, that sounds so weird. Farga lowers her head, and so does it's Utrom, which is Riddix, and wow, it's Schleeschlug. No, Schlee. Oh my god, Schleeshug.
Sounds like the tongue twister.
It's horrible.
About selling seashells on the seashore.
And that one is Sawyer's. So they all lower their heads, and then she sees that every dragon around also does.
They're all just like bowing.
They're like, we're on your side, whatever you say.
Yeah.
And so Tairn demands apologies, and he says, I'm sorry, and he says, apologize to the one and Dharna deemed worthy of her bond.
I know, that's so cute.
And then she's like, his apology isn't necessary. Really, I'm happy to just not die today. And he's like, it is necessary to me, Silver One. I speak for Dharna while she is in the dreamless sleep. Mm-hmm. He's not letting this go.
No.
So then...
This is so satisfying.
Varish is like, I'm sorry. It is not my authority to summon any dragon. And then he's like... he's like really pushing this in. He says, on your knees.
I know. And I'm like, okay, maybe you're taking it too
far. That's where
now.
I think is he really, ever taking it too far? Should he have just killed him? Yes.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking like to Varish, like I think this is the one step that's really going to make him never ever.
Well, she
ever
even mentions this,
guys.
but this is like now forever going to solidify an enemy between both of these.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, he says on your knees. And he gets down on his knees and he says, you have my most sincere apology, you and your dragon, both of your dragons. And then she says, I accept. Yeah. I accept. And she shouts it as well as mentally, because she's like, just in case you can't hear me.
Please, Tairn, please.
And then you get this gross line. Tairn dislodges his jaw with a wet sucking sound as his fangs slip free.
Ooh.
And he retreats with arrogant footfalls, not even bothering to lower his head or protect his throat, because come on.
Right. He literally said that Solus is half his size.
I know. So Varish stares at her like totally with hatred because he didn't mean one bit of that apology. And Solus takes off.
Yeah.
He's like...
Probably has to lick his wounds.
And he's also like, I'm not going to be around in case you do something stupid again, and Tairn is going to try to kill me again, okay?
Yeah, that's probably
maybe Varish also told him take off because this is his weak point.
Yeah, but I mean, Tairn
could just eat him.
Probably just eat him. Like, I don't know all the rules,
he's not
but
tasty.
like, he
There's
probably
no way.
could.
Yeah. So then Tairn's like, problem solved. My goodness.
Oh, this was very satisfying.
She knows that she's just made Solus her nemesis.
Yeah, well, whatever. Solus just made Tairn his nemesis, so who should be scared here?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Okay, so jump in time. Rhiannon says, I thought for sure he'd cancel your leave after Tairn nearly slayed Solus.
I know, and I was like, yeah. That's a great way to get Tairn not to kill your dragon. Stop him from Sing again. Like, are you serious? That'd be the dumbest thing to do.
Yeah, because it's not. Canceling her leave has nothing to do with her. The whole reason they have a leave is for the dragons.
Yeah.
Tairn would just be like, you know what? You're done. You don't need to be enrolled in this school anymore. We're just going to go hang out in, what is it?
Samara,
yeah. Anyways, okay.
Yeah, I was like, no, that would not be the smart thing to do.
Right. Yeah, so they're actually walking to the flight field. It's like 3 nights later, and they're heading there. She's like walking her to, where she's going to take off to tomorrow. So.
Oh, yes.
Does Rhiannon, Violet has to know that Rhiannon's going to see her stuff getting checked here, because of course
I don't know. It seems like she forgets about it every week. Every 2 weeks.
Too. What the heck?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, but so they're walking, and then Rhiannon starts to kind of interrogate her a little bit. She's like, well, she says like, are you really going to make me use some of those new interrogation tactics we're learning to pry the truth out of you? So I guess they're also learning how to torture people.
Yeah.
Or at least from the interrogation.
How to not be tortured and how to be, and how to do the torturing.
And she's like, would you rather I go with the empathetic or more directly confrontational approach? And then Violet's like, about? And she's like, about Varish's little comment that you've already been punished once before. And Violet forgot.
Yeah.
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 She's like, a few weeks ago, he got mad that Darna wasn't feeling up to maneuvers and he used my signet training as punishment. And she's like, he what? And why wouldn't you tell us that? And she's like, I didn't want you targeted. I still think that's so dumb. Targeted, like, would they...
Well, what she's thinking that she's not telling Rhiannon is that means that her friends would be worried about her and they'd be more protective of her, so they'd be around her all the time. And then if she almost got assassinated, if she almost got assassinated again, then they'd be in the crossfires, just like Nadine was.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what she's thinking.
Yeah, probably. So she just says that he doesn't like getting his way, so that's why he's been targeting her, because he's not getting in Darna. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay. They're walking up the stairs. They're not doing the gauntlet. They're just walking up the stairs, right?
They're like next to it.
To go to the flight field and stuff. And they're looking at the gauntlet. And she's thinking about the fact that now the first years, this is about when they're going to start training on this, right? Rhiannon makes this comment about it being pointless. But Violet says it's not. You know, like she's like Rhiannon's kind of saying like, okay, when Orly fell and stuff like that, you know, she was a great writer. Like, why, you know, like, how is that helping us type of thing? That whole idea of like, why is all this death and watching people fall help us? Or what is that doing for us?
Yeah, like she would have been a great writer. She wouldn't have been a weak link or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And Violet says something interesting here. She says, yeah, I think she would have been a phenomenal writer. Better than me, that's for sure. And then she says...
Well, she stops herself and Rhiannon is like saying, tell me. And she's saying, you don't want to know. She's saying she does really want to know, but then I think she does she reacts kind of how Violet was worried about a little bit.
Right, because Violet, these are feelings that are like boiling up inside of her, and she is affected by a lot that's going on, and so here it literally like snaps.
Yeah.
And she says, fine, yes, it's awful that Orly fell, that she died, but I think I'm a better writer for having been there, having watched her fall to her death, and known that if I didn't get my ass moving, I was going to be next. And then Rhiannon's like, that's horrible. And Violet says, so is everything waiting out there for us. That stupid fucking gauntlet isn't just about physically climbing it. It's about overcoming the fear that we can't. It's about climbing after we see it kill our friends. I liked that line because... Yeah. She had to get back on her dragon and save everyone's ass after Liam just died in her arms.
Yep.
Yeah, he didn't really die in her arms, but you know what I mean.
Basic.
He was dying in her arms.
Yes.
So she's saying parapet, gauntlet, presentation, they seem excessive when we're here, but they prepare us for something way worse when we leave. And then she's like, you don't know what it's like out there, Rhiannon.
Yeah, and then she's like, well, of course you won't talk to me. But it's like, even if she talked to you, you still don't understand what it's like. I mean, even if... She
can't say it.
Even if she told you the truth, you still wouldn't know what it's like. That's what I'm saying. It's like, she could talk to you all day, every day, but you weren't there.
Yeah.
You don't have the adrenaline.
But she would know more if...
Well, true. That's true. But I'm just saying...
Because she does say you've been running with Imogen, you're locked away reading, you're spending every possible Saturday with Ryerson. That's fine, but you're not talking to us, so how would you expect me to know anything? And this is when Violet kind of goes off a little bit even more. Like, this is really... I actually liked this conversation.
I know. I was like, finally. Like, this is all things that you could have said forever ago.
Yes.
Like, there's nothing wrong with what you said.
Yes. I agree, and I think that would have let Rhi in, and she would have been a little bit able to understand a little more what was going on, you know?
Yeah, but also the nice thing about it happening here is that now Rhiannon is like, can be like, oh, I understand why you've been so distant and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Like, she can excuse it away, where if Violet had opened up to her at the beginning and then was still being super weird.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, she basically goes off here and says, like, you didn't hold him, watch the light fade out of his eyes, knowing there wasn't a physical thing wrong with him, but he was dying because Day laid eviscerated just a few feet away. Nothing I did in those moments before mattered. And anyways, she even says that, like, her shoulder almost dislocated because he was so damn heavy, but she held on. Nothing I did mattered, basically. There was no way to save him. Like, she was saving his body physically, and he was dying.
Yeah.
Then she says, you haven't seen what's out there, what makes me run every fucking morning.
I know, and I was like, okay, well, careful.
Yeah, I know, because there's still more to this than that. Like, everybody's thinking, okay, griffins, but I mean, we have dragons, they're not quite, this sounds horrifying, right?
Yeah.
And she says, and the look on his face, you don't see it every time you sleep, you don't hear him begging you to take care of Sloane, you sure as hell don't hear Day scream. And then she's sort of like, whoa, I've opened that box,
Yeah.
Anyways, so she says, is as callous it might make me, watching Orly fall and Pryor burn, and even Jack fucking Barlow get crushed under my landslide, prepared me for the moment that I had to leave Liam and fight.
Yeah.
So she's just getting to that point again. She's like, if I would have mourned, we would have lost everybody.
Yep.
So she says, we are the weapons, and this place is the stone they use to sharpen us.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
It's definitely not fun to hear, but
no.
I mean, she's right. She is right.
Yeah. Yeah, and she says she's sorry, and she says that she wouldn't want them to know what it's like. She wouldn't wish that on her worst enemy, and definitely not her closest friend, and Rhiannon is her closest friend.
Yeah.
And then right at that point, she looks like she's about to start saying something. She's like telling her we'll put her in danger, but not telling her leaves her unprepared. And she says, I should talk to you. You lost Liam too. You have every right to know. And then Tairn blasts in her head, nope, Solus is right.
Yeah, thank God.
Do you notice that he does not call a single human by their first name, not even Violet?
No.
Solus is writer,
Wing
leader.
dies so fast. You can't keep track of all of these names.
Yeah, but not even Violet, although she's Silver One.
Yeah.
And he calls Indarna by her first name. He also calls her Golden One, doesn't he?
Yeah,
point?
a few times.
Although,
that won't work anymore.
Yeah. So then Major Varish is there, and he's like, good evening, Cadet Sorngale. And then he's like, sounds like I might have interrupted a discussion, and I'm like, crap, what did he hear exactly? Because she did say you should know.
It is really scary.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what she's worried about, putting Rhiannon in danger.
Right. And it sounded like she was about to tell her something.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so she's thinking in her head, oh no, I almost did it. And Tairn's like, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So Rhiannon's kind of surprised here. She's like, what are you doing here? And Varish is just like, you know the drill. Basically, whatever, give us your pack. So she does.
Right. Or are you going to argue that you're not under my command at all now?
Right.
He says to her. It's like, she never argued anything.
I mean, next time Tairn can just put his teeth slightly in Varish.
Yeah.
He could have his head inside his mouth, right? And around his waist. And then he has to talk. No, okay. And then when she literally empties them on the ground herself, shakes the bag and says, happy. And again, he has this great response. Like, listen, I don't like this guy, but these some of his responses are pretty amazing. She says, happy. And he says, not yet, but one day. I'm patient.
Like, acting like he'll only be happy when she's, like, dead.
Yes,
Which is crazy. Like, I don't...
Or something. Tortured. I don't know. He likes to torture people. He is an evil madman.
He's an evil madman.
Yeah.
He's a very evil madman. Ugh.
So they looked through and checked everything, and there wasn't anything there, of course, because smart people. And then he says, enjoy your leave while you have it, which is a total threat.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like, you could see this as, like, enjoy the short time you're gonna be gone, but, like, that doesn't...
Oh, I didn't see it that way at all. I thought of, like, while you still have leave, before I've, like, somehow done something that makes this not a thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it could easily be a threat, but then you could also be like, is he threatening me, or is he just being weird?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Varish likes.
Yeah.
Keep you on your toes. But
yeah.
It's like, how could you get rid of the leave? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Unless Xaden moved to a closer outpost where Tairn and Sigil could see each other without Violet and Xaden having to come. Like,
yeah,
what's
Tairn
the closest...
wouldn't leave her at all with Varish anywhere in the same vicinity as her.
Well, Sigil might be able to come.
Yeah, if he's like in maybe control, like an operations center, like for the day or something.
It doesn't show where like any of those are on the map, but we know, like, it just shows all the ones that are right along the border, because that's like the plot relevant ones. But we know there's ones that are more like the middle posts, or there could be one.
I should look at the Onyx Storm map and see if there's even more to show up. I don't even know. I never really pay attention to the map. You're the map girl.
I am.
Anyways, the last little bit of this chapter is Violet being like, is that normal? And she's like, yes. They never fully trust Xaden's name is what Violet is using as the reason, which is a good reason and is true.
It is true.
Yeah. But also she's like checking with Tairn, like, are we happy that they didn't, check you today? And he's like, yep. So obviously there's stuff up there, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, but Violet says, I'm really sorry for exploding on you back there. There's no excuse. And then Violet says one of the first truths in a while. She says, nothing is all right. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad they're mending their friendship.
I know, it's an important friendship.
Because I love Rhiannon so much.
It does say Rhi a lot in the book, and I just say Rhiannon.
Yeah, because it kind of sounds like you're impersonating a rat.
Rhi. Yeah, it is. For some reason, in my, when I, talk and stuff like that, I feel like if I say Rhi, it kind of, it doesn't, it gets lost somehow. It just doesn't sound like I'm talking about her. So I've just, same with Vi. It's the same thing. Neither of those work for me. I'm mostly just saying their full names. Okay.
I do not write out their full names in my notes because that's a lot of work.
I'm sure you write X for Xaden.
No, actually, I write Xaden all the time.
That's funny.
But for Violet and Rhiannon, I just do Rhi and Vi.
Rhi and Vi.
Yeah.
Chapter 20, the blurb on the top says, in the years after my father died, so this is a Xaden letter, I forgot what it felt like to be loved. Then I entered the quadrant and became the monster everybody needed me to be, and I never regretted it. But then you gave those words to me and I remembered, and nearly lost you too. I'm striving to be better for you, just like I promised, but I need you to know that that monster is still there, screaming to use every ruthless part of me to get your words back.
Dang,
he's fighting.
Dang. Crazy.
Yeah. So, okay, good. So they're now arriving to Samara, from flying over there. And I guess they've been talking and arguing over whether or not she should attempt a running landing ever. And he's like, we'll figure something out, even if you move to my shoulder and successfully slide to perch. So that they're mid this conversation. And she's like, you can't change graduation requirements. And he's like, well, I've never tried.
That was so funny. He's like, I don't know, maybe I could. Yeah. Threaten the right dragon. Get anything done.
So yeah, that's funny. And she can see he's getting excited and looking to where Sigale is right now. And she's she thinks it's cute.
Yeah.
So, and of course, this is cute too, because he's like, okay, let's agree that we'll come up with a solution that meets graduation requirements without breaking every bone in your body. And then she's like, good, I should remember to argue with him only when he's got better things to do.
Yeah.
Like Sigale.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah. Okay, so she grabs the packs and almost falls over, and he's like, we're all dead if you fall off my back and break your impatient neck. She does mention that she can't believe someone was up there to secure the bags, and he's like, no, the section leader attached the bags to the saddle before I put it on. Of course he's not letting someone else climb up on him. And she's like, and here I was thinking you'd evolved.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we cleared that up, because I remember thinking that too.
Yeah.
Also, the more I think about it, doesn't seem like more work to keep track of everyone's post title than it is to remember their names, because every year they all get different roles within the wings and the sections and the blah blah blah, but he knows the section leader and the wing leader and this and that, but he doesn't know their names.
I think he knows the names just fine.
He just refuses to use them.
They're just, those puny humans, they're beneath him. They don't need names.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So he, of course, insists on waiting until she gets in through the, what's it called? The gates, the fortress, right?
Yeah.
So, and she's like, you're wasting time. And he's like, well, then walk faster. So she's trudging forward. There's an interesting little scene where infantry is jogging towards her, and they just split and go around. Someone yells, "Rider!" and they just split and go around her. I don't know why it's mentioned particularly, but it's just showing how well trained they are, I guess.
And also that they completely yield to the riders.
Yeah,
she's just walking. She can move anywhere, and they're like, no, it's fine. We're just gonna part around you.
I guess so.
And maybe that's what it's like. Well, no wonder why riders have this ego when this is how they're treated.
Yeah. She gets into the Bailey, which I believe is just the courtyard inside of a walled courtyard or whatever. But
sure.
She suddenly sees Xaden striding towards her. I kind of love this scene.
Oh, this scene's great. I love how he just doesn't tell her anything when he really could.
Yeah, I know. He's so mysterious. And I love how she thinks to herself, I simultaneously want to climb the man and kick him hard in the shins. We kind of all feel the same way.
Yeah. About him right now.
Yeah. It's like, do we want her to climb him or do we want her to... No.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he's coming towards her. She can't look at anybody but him. And he basically starts talking to her in her mind and says, like, I'm going to have to force your hand and I'm sorry. And you have 2 seconds to decide if you want time to talk in private tonight. And she's like,
what?
I'm not sure you want to be alone with me considering what I'm carrying. What does that mean?
Because she has... I don't know. It seems like that's exactly why he'd want to be alone with her. Which is basically what he says. Doesn't it later? But
I don't know. That's weird. You have 2 seconds to decide if you want time to talk in private tonight. Well, that makes sense because of what he's going to say here.
Yeah.
But she's like, not sure you want to be alone with me, considering what I'm carrying. Unless she's thinking
about the
like you're going to
stuff.
take what I have and go somewhere. You're not going to be alone with me. Maybe that's what she's thinking.
I don't know.
Weird.
Because
Okay.
it does seem like Zayden's the one you're going to give this stuff to.
Yeah. Anyways, then he says, choose. And she says, yes, of course I want to talk to you in private. And he says, tell me to kiss you, even if it's just for show. And then she's like, what? And he's like, now, Violet, or you'll be sleeping in someone else's room tonight. Which is such a weird thing to say. He's so confusing. He should say, your sister's here. She's going to want you. We need to put on a show.
I think...
Kiss me.
Like, he might be worried that if he tells her exactly what's happening, she won't be as convincing.
Oh, she might be like...
Because it's like, it's my sister.
Yeah, okay. He wants her in his room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So, maybe that's why he doesn't mention specifically, but this is some information, like, do it or you'll be sleeping in someone else's room tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's basically grabbed her, he's holding on to her, and she says, kiss me. And he says...
only not out loud.
No, but he says, I missed you
permission.
out loud.
Yeah.
And then they're kissing. And they're talking. But, yeah, she says, you walked out on me because that's what happened last time he was there. And he says, fight later. Now kiss me like you mean it. And she's like, since you asked so nicely. And then they just basically start climbing each other all over in front of everybody. I mean, if you read this and it's like they are...
forgets once again that there's people everywhere, anywhere.
Yeah, this is what you would call sucking face. Like, it is happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, and I think he's even picked her up. Oh, that's right, because she's like, he makes me feel weightless, and then she realizes,
like, oh, I'm actually weightless.
He's holding her up, because he is so much taller than her, and
he's probably bored of, like, or not bored, I'm tired of, like, bending his neck like that. He's like, I'm just gonna pick you up.
Anyways, yeah, they are, like, definitely about to do something. So, a familiar voice says, oh, for fuck's sake. But she's, distracted.
Yeah.
And then she draws back slowly and he says, good enough show for you. And he says, fuck the show, right?
Yeah.
And kisses her again, totally losing basically any of his polishedness, right?
Uh-huh.
Just untamed here. And then she hears, put my sister down, Ryerson, you made your point.
Yeah. And then we find out who the mysterious, familiar voice was.
Yeah, because she says sister and we know it's not Brennan.
Yeah, I could not figure out what was going on here before this. I really couldn't. I was like, what is happening? Like, why is Aiden being so weird?
And so imagine this conversation before this happened. Like,
I know.
Like Zayden saying, so Violet's coming over, and she's like, oh great, she can spend the night in my room. And he says, no, she's spending the night in my room. And she's like, no, she's my sister. And what are you talking about? You guys aren't an item. And he's like, watch this. Is that what happened?
Maybe something very similar to that, I would say.
I'm just wondering, because he says you made your point. They had to have had some sort of conversation.
Yeah, where I think I was thinking more like he was like, I don't know if she's gonna want to stay in your room.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
Like,
let's see.
We'll see, but I don't think she's gonna stay in your room.
Yeah, maybe.
And then she's like, she would always pick me over you. And then he's like, well, okay. That's what I like to imagine.
There you go. I like it. Anyways, so she breaks a kiss and says, Mira? And then she's like, good to see you, Vi. And she's like, what are you doing here? And then, of course, we find out she's been stationed there.
Yeah.
But Mira, like, looks her sister over, like, looking for wounds. It's just the funniest thing.
But she's like that with her all the time because of her, like, condition.
She's just making out with Zayden a second ago. If she can make out with Zayden, she's fine.
Well, I don't know. I think she can make out with Zayden pretty injured.
Well, she can do anything injured because she can put the pain away. But anyways, but the funny thing here is she's like looking at the top of her head and she's like, are you sure you're fine? Because I'm thinking you must have taken a pretty serious blow to the head to be involved with this one.
And then Zayden is now explaining a little bit more what's going on. Like, you have to play along or you're going to be in her room tonight. She's been more than adamant.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's sort of like, okay, what do I say here? And then Xaden says, I'm going to take your bags to my room. Kind of maybe helping her out here.
Yeah,
and
being
so,
gentlemanly. Being like, see? She's reasons to like me.
That's right. And, of course, he also needs to take those bags soon before someone decides to look at them.
Also, yeah, I was like, please get the bags out of here.
And no one's going to say, wow,
like, why'd
you
you bring
moving?
3 bags to stay one night? I could not decide on the lingerie. Okay, I had to bring the whole collection.
Not just mine, but all of Rhiannon's as well, just in case. That's funny. Anyways, so then he says, I have duty tonight, and she is so sad.
Yeah.
She says no. She whispers it. And then she's like, I guess we can't fight if we don't talk. She says that to him in his mind.
Yeah.
But he says we'll have time later. For fighting, for talking, whatever. But yeah, he'll see her tonight, but just not during the day. So she gets to go with her sister, and that's nice too, right?
Yeah, and all that Mira could hear is, so Xaden says, I'm going to take your bags. She says, thank you. He says, I have duty. She says, no. He says, have fun with your sister.
I'll see you tonight.
And then she says, all right. Yeah. So it is very...
They do a good job having 2 conversations and not forgetting which one comes out where, which is, I think, impossible, but hey,
yeah,
it works.
When he says, see you tonight, he then, like, brushes her hair behind her ear and, like, touches her face. And she's like, this is not just for show.
I know. And she sees the heat in his eyes and she's like instantly warm.
Yeah.
And then, which is funny because she's instantly warm. And then the next sentence he says is to Mira. He says, don't let her set anything on fire.
I know. So funny.
Okay, then he tells, as he's walking away, he tells her to keep her shields up in his mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
This conversation is really cute. Mira's like, he's carrying your bags up to his room for you? And she's like, he is. And then Violet's thinking about, oh, well, he's really just taking the bags to the drop point and leaving me, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
And then Mira's like, oh shit. Violet says, what? She says, you're not just fucking him, are you? You're falling for him. She stares at me like I've lost my mind.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I know I should. I can't lie to her. Not about this. Not exactly. Who do you think you're fooling? He basically swallowed you whole, and now you're watching him with those big soft eyes that are practically oozing with... And then she's like, gestures. What even is that? Yearning? Infatuation? And then Violet rolls her eyes. Love? And then she's like, oh no, you're in love with him, aren't you? And she's like, and Violet's, you can't possibly know that just by looking at me. And then Mira says, let's go throw knives at shit. Such a great
Mira
big sister.
Can definitely read her very well.
Yeah. So we're now in this like... I want to say, I keep thinking it's like a bar where you throw axes, but I don't know, I don't know if that's exactly what it is.
I think they're just at like the training grounds.
Just the training grounds.
Yeah.
This is in my head. They're in one of those like, axe throwing bar places. Okay.
Sure.
But this is the first. Yeah.
The wooden targets line the back of the outpost's
sparring gym.
So they are inside.
They are
on the
inside.
North side of the first floor. It's a far cry from the pit on the south side.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are inside. There's definitely other people around. They're in an enclosed space, but it is a gym.
I just see them like holding, beer bottles by the neck, throwing axes in one hand. Okay. This is the first time she sees Mira. She's seen Mira since she found out that Brennan is alive, and this is killing her.
Uh-huh.
She's like, in her head, she just has this, Brennan is alive, just going through her head. It's all she can think about. She's like, why am I with my sister and I can't tell her this super important thing?
This is so messed
horrible.
up. It's funny that she doesn't feel that about her mom, though.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But she loves Mira so much.
Yes.
And, I've heard people in the fandom get irritated with Mira in the beginning of the book when she was like not thinking that Violet would survive. And Again,
I mean,
if you have a younger sister who you love, yes, and you think is your last sibling, and there has been all those times where she's done nothing but break whatever. I don't feel like it's wrong to have wanted to also to stand up for her and be like, she's wanted to be a scribe all her life. What the heck are you doing?
And at that time, that is true for Violet. Like, she is standing up for what Violet believes. Now, she does hurt Violet's feelings a little bit.
She does hurt Violet's feelings. Yeah, she does 100%. And I don't think that's okay, but also I don't think it lessens the love that she has for her.
And she is standing up for what she thinks Violet wants, which is what Violet wants at the beginning of the book.
Yeah. So. And she didn't come back later like Dane and try 500 times to get her to leave.
No.
She was like, okay, you're going? I'm going to teach you how to survive.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah, gave her the book.
Gave her the book. Yeah.
So
set her up to cross the parapet. Okay, you know.
She believed in her to a point. She believed that she could help her and that the help would be valuable and that with that help she could make it. Hopefully.
And at that point it was up to Violet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's basically giving her some shit right now for, you know, sleeping with Xaden, right? She's like, you're fraternizing with an officer. And I'm just saying that if it goes badly, you're stuck with each other for the rest of your careers. And then she's like, Violet's like, oh, but you're not judging. She's like, fine, maybe I'm judging. But she, you know, she's like, I'm your sister. Yeah. And she's like, you're my only sibling. I'm allowed to worry. And then of course Violet's like, oh, you're not though. I'm not. And we hear here that Mira and Brennan were inseparable as kids. Like they were closer than they were with her, you know?
Yeah.
Mira then is like, I'm going to worry about you. How is RSC going? She goes, we lost a writer in the first exercise, 2 maps. And then Mira's like, yeah, it's a mindfuck. But that's not what I meant. We're talking about interrogation here, right? They're going to beat you black and blue just to see if you can take it. And then Violet's like, I can take the pain. I live in pain. I practically built a house there and set up a whole economy. I can take whatever they dish out. And that's true.
Yeah. That is true, but also that means she could be broken more easily.
She can be broken more easily, but
she could handle her pain better.
Yeah, her pain, what's it called? Ability threshold is good. Anyways, yeah, but so we hear that most people are dying. Most second years are dying actually from RSC, but it's just like kind of like it's spread out throughout the year, like when they're taken for like interrogation, stuff like that. That you don't really like. It's not like a whole bunch just disappear at once or die at once, you know. So you don't really think about it, but it is the most deadly part of second year.
Yeah, and then she says this like terrifying line, which is, if you don't break, they can accidentally torture you to death, and if you do break, they kill you. It's like, okay, so it seems like the best option is that you are tortured almost to death.
Yeah.
That's the best option. Oh, good.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds horrible. And how was it? Can you tell me how was it that all of last year when they're first years, they didn't notice second years walking around bruised black and blue?
Maybe they do use the mentors for that.
So they won't know.
It. Yeah.
Maybe. Just, it seems weird how they were able to keep this all quiet, but...
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. Okay, yeah. So then Mira sees the Tyrish daggers and says, I haven't seen runes like these in a while. And then she says Xaden gave them to her. But, you know, basically by the pretend sparring match, you know.
I wonder where she's seen them before.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's like ...
A while.
Tyrish their dad maybe was looking. He's always looking into something. Or when she was stationed somewhere in Tairn maybe. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. She mentions that they look custom, right? And she's like, yeah, they're harder to knock out of my hands than the traditional length and not as heavy. So then Mira's just kind of thinking about... Mira is just... It's weird to her. Like, as far as she knows, Ryerson is a cold-blooded asshole. And here she's finding out that he had handmade or whatever, you know, custom-made daggers for Violet, had her spar for them so she could keep them. Yeah. And she's just looking at Violet like, what is happening? And Violet's like, what? He has a vested interest in keeping me alive. I know you don't like him. I know you don't trust him. And she's like, he's a Ryerson. You shouldn't trust him either. And then Violet's like, I don't, which is true. Yeah.
But also, so rude. It's not his fault that his dad was Fen Ryerson. Just saying.
I mean, right. Even though
he's definitely
following his dad's footsteps.
But still...
Mira's like, you're in love with him. I don't even know what that is, but unhealthy is the first word that comes to my mind. Anyway, so then they change the subject. Why are you stationed here? And Violet mentions that Samara is warded and that Mira's a walking shield and it's a waste of her signet. It's a good question. Yeah. She says they're worried about attacks here because this outpost has one of the biggest power supplies for the wards. And if this place falls, a giant portion of the border is vulnerable.
So they sent Xaden to the place with the most
attacks.
Well, yes, but the biggest supply.
Oh, nice. Biggest supply of these daggers.
Pretty helpful.
Yep.
Which is funny because then they're still smuggling them
out.
Well, no, wait. It has the alloy. Right? It has the biggest supply of the alloy there. And then maybe when he comes with Segale, he's bringing the stuff from the wards, and then they're turning it into daggers with the luminary at Basgiath, and then Violet's bringing the daggers back.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they're giving them to the people.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just think I was like, well, that's probably helpful for him.
Yeah, and we start getting into now a conversation that's sort of helpful to Violet a little bit. You know,
I
it's
know.
interesting. It's sort of bordering on almost like classified, right?
I know, but it's so smart of her to think
It is
this through.
smart, yeah. Before we get into this almost classified conversation, Mira is very good at throwing her daggers. She can throw them without looking and still hit the spot. And so Violet's like, you're fucking show off. Is there anything you don't excel at? And then Mira says poisons. So here we find out that Brennan and her were actually taught by her dad about poisons.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was an interesting.
Which
I didn't know if
Violet probably was too.
if we heard. Do we have that information?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so that means Violet. No, it does say here Violet and Brennan. Violet and Brennan were the only ones who could sit still enough to listen. That's why they're both good at poisons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then she also says, tell me what you know about the wards. Weaving isn't taught until third year, and anything beyond is classified. So that's interesting. In third year, they learn weaving wards, which is what Xaden did, to stop people from going into her room, right? That was a ward he weaved. Yeah.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I really wonder if this is why. Like, we talk a little bit later with Xaden, I think, in this chapter, right? About why he gave her those tearish knots.
Right.
And I know we don't know much about weaving wards, but the fact that it's called weaving, I wonder...
Like, what's the connection there?
If it could help her, but he doesn't say that. That's what I was thinking back a while ago.
Yeah, that's interesting. So then she says, Violet says, I read, of course, because she's Violet. I know that they originate from the wardstone in the Vale because of the hatching grounds located there.
Okay,
right?
So that's the hatching grounds again.
Yep. So the Vale has the hatching grounds. The wardstone is somewhere over there, right? Mm-hmm. They're boosted with a power supply along our border outposts to expand their natural distance in places and maintain a strong defense. Okay?
In a minute here, we're going to find out that the power supply contains dragon eggs.
I know. Eggshells. I know.
Yeah, not the like alive dragons. No. Just their eggshells. And I'm like, this is really all coming back to hatching grounds. I'm just saying. Like,
it really is. I know. And so Mira says they're woven into the ground out here. And she says, think of an umbrella. The wardstone is the stem. The wards take the shape of a dome over Navarre, right? And then, but just like any umbrella, the spokes are strongest closer they are to the stem, right? So like the ends of the umbrella are like more weak, right?
Yeah.
So by the time the wards reach the ground, they're too weak to do much without a boost.
And she says, the alloy.
And the dragons.
So the dragons being located at the alloy points.
I guess so.
Seem to also boost it.
Oh, she says, and the dragons. It's just interesting.
Because
so she
all
says,
of these outposts, I mean, all these places have outposts where dragons are stationed there consistently.
Yeah, that's true. And it says it's the alloy stored in the outposts that tugs some of those umbrella spokes forward, extending the wards twice as far as they'd normally reach in some cases. And then Violet asks, what's it made of? What's it made of? I guess that's the alloy, right?
I guess, but then don't we hear about it in a second?
No, she says that's definitely above your clearance.
Oh, it's Xaden who tells her that.
Oh, maybe.
Because we're about to hear that it's made with eggshells and some metal.
Oh, that's true.
But it must not be Mira.
It's not her. Okay, good.
Okay.
And then Violet asked, but how do you weave new wards? Like if we wanted to protect places like Athabine. And she's trying to be very casual about this. Mira says you don't. The extensions are what we weave. It's like continuing a tapestry that's been stretched too far. You're just adding threads to something that already exists, and we can't extend the wards to Athabine. We've tried. But who's told you?
Yeah.
Whatever
she keeps on trying to figure out.
She's like, how much? Why does Violet know all this?
And Violet's just like, brush.
Totally. And she's like, is that how your signet works? Because you're basically a ward, right? So here now we find out about her signet. So it says, no, I kind of pull the wards with me. Sometimes I can manifest on my own, but I have to be close to an outpost. Kind of like I'm just another thread. And then she's like, what has gotten into you?
Yeah, so she's thinking here, how do we weave new wards? Like if we wanted to protect places like Athabine. She says you don't weave new wards because you are going to stretch it too far. But if you had a new...
No, she's just saying you can't, period, you can't weave new wards. She's like, it's only the extensions that we weave. That's what Mira knows.
Yes. But if you could have a new umbrella post.
And that's what Violet's trying to find out. And she thinks that no one thinks that's possible because the information can't be found. That's what she keeps thinking, right?
But do you know what you do have at that place? A wardstone and old hatching ground. So it seems like you could probably do it.
Right. There's like all this stuff. Yeah. So Mira's like, basically this information is beyond her rank. Why are you asking? Violet's like, just curious. And then Mira's like, don't be. It's classified for a reason. The only people who know are the ones who need to know, just like every other piece of classified intelligence.
See, it's like this exact paragraph right here from Mira that makes me, when she starts really considering telling her, I'm like, Violet, don't. Like, I just don't. I mean, this was my prediction of book 1. It's like, I just don't. I think Mira is so great, but I think it would take not just one conversation with her. Maybe she could come around with, like, enough proof and stuff, but she seems like so on the military track. The exact mindset that they want you to have when you leave Baziath is like, Mira's like the perfect example of it. It's like, don't ask questions, don't think about it, just do what you're supposed to do.
Right, like classified information is classified for a reason. Like, she's not curious.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is why I'm like, oh my god, like, I don't know if she'd really just turn like that. Like, Violet is much different.
Yeah.
Much different of a person.
Also, Violet saw.
Yeah, that helps.
That helps.
That definitely helps.
So anyways, yeah. Speaking of classified, were you on any of the missions to check the Promish cities for damage? So this is Violet asking Mira. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, they told us about it in Battle Brief. It's not secret anymore. Mira's like, no, but I saw one of the riots who did the flying while, how do you say her? Oh gosh. Apparently her dragon's name is Chenya. Doesn't look like that at all. It looks like Teen.
This is
Sorry,
all
people.
too much.
Sorry, people. We try, but at the same time, it's just hard.
How are you supposed to guess it? That's how you pronounce that word.
Shenya is what it says. So, anyways, her dragon, when they were on patrol, they saw one of the riots. And then Violet's asked, do you know anyone who was on the missions? And again, it's no. But I read the reports. Uh-huh. So, again, there's still no, like, okay, all we have is reports. There's no one's seen who's done these missions, right?
Yeah.
We just know reports. And then she asks you trust the reports. And this is, like you said, this goes to what you thought about, Mira. She's like, of course, why wouldn't I trust it? Why wouldn't you? She's like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Violet thinks, I was thrown into battle with dark wielders, lost one of my closest friends, fought an actual venom on the back of my dragon, and then was mended by our very not dead brother. And then she says, nothing.
I'm sure she said it like that. Nothing.
Yeah. But Mira gives her the look, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. And she thinks if there was one person on the continent I could tell, it would be Mira.
And I'm like, would it be? Will it be? You would think, here's the thing. We just talked about how close Brennan and Mira was. Brennan would have told Mira. If Brennan was so sure, so positive that Mira would be on their side, he have already told her.
Right.
That should be a sign enough.
Right. I mean,
this is a bad idea.
Everything in this conversation definitely gets you thinking, like,
yeah,
she's
such a good person, so I don't want to believe that she would really not care at all, but I would be scared that she wouldn't think, and she would just be like, uh-oh, report Violet, like, without thinking. You know what I mean?
So funny. I would think it'd be more like, uh-oh, report Xaden.
Both of them.
And then she tucks Violet under her arm and says, I will protect you. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Violet says, I just think it's weird that you wouldn't know anyone on the missions into oh, God, I said it wrong last time. Peromial, right? Yeah. She says, you know everyone. And how do you know what you saw was one of the riots tasked with, oh my God, how do you say that word?
Recon.
Good. The long version of that. Anyways, and Mira says, because there were over a dozen dragons in the distance to the south over the border, what the hell else could it have been, Violet? Wow, wyvern?
Yeah.
And she's like, this is where I could say it. This is when I should tell her. But then she thinks it's not just my life I'd risk by telling her. My heart sinks, but I have to.
Uh-huh. And she, like, basically does. And I'm, like, so scared.
She says, I don't know. What if they're wyvern?
I was so scared here.
And then Mira blinks and says, say again? And she's like, what if you saw wyvern? What if they're destroying Promish cities, since we both know it isn't dragons? What if there's an entire war out there that we know nothing about? And then Mira at this point just thinks, oh my God, she's just worn out. Poor girl.
She needs to sleep more.
My little sister. She says you have to spend less time reading those fables, Vi. Have you been getting enough rest since the Griffin attacks? Because you sound like maybe you're not sleeping, and it's hard to see combat for the first time, let alone as a first year. But if you don't get enough sleep and present a stable, steady front, writers have to be solid, Violet. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Violet's like, yeah, she doesn't blame me.
Yeah.
So she says, fine, I'm not sleeping well, just to go along with that. Right?
Yeah, which is true.
It is
isn't
true.
Sleeping well. But that's not why I think the fact that it's true is why she's not sleeping well.
Yeah. Sorry if I have to say this because I do love Mira in many ways, but she misses the signs here. There are a lot of signs.
Like her literally saying it out loud.
Yeah. Well, obviously Mira doesn't know.
Yes.
That they're real. So it just seemed weird to her. But all this stuff that she's asking and everything, and knowing that she's sleeping with Xaden Ryerson, I would be a lot scareder.
I would be very suspicious of Xaden at the very least.
But she takes this excuse as like, okay, good. She is tired. That's all it is. And she's like, let's get you to bed. Get some sleep.
Yeah.
Anyways. And then we find out that Xaden's in the operations center, which is above her clearance.
Yeah.
And that Mira's going out on patrol flight.
Yep.
Okay? So then it's same chapter, but it's like later on. She's sleeping and Xaden slides into bed shirtless. We get to know that. But yeah, she hasn't been sleeping really well.
No.
And she says to him, I don't have it in me to fight tonight. And he's like, well, then we won't. And she's like, because it's that simple.
I mean, it kind of is.
I think so too. He says it is if that's what we decide, which is very true. So then she asks what time it is. He says it's a little after midnight. I wanted to talk to you earlier, but there was an incident. And then she, of course, immediately worries about Mira.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, everything's fine. Just some civilians trying to cross the border and the infantry wasn't pleased. Meaning they killed them.
Yeah, he says it. They killed them. Happens all the time.
Happens all the time. These citizens are trying to get to safety beyond the wards and they're just being killed. Yeah. Because they can't be allowed to communicate what's happening on the other side and why they're not safe.
Yeah. It's really not
horrible.
Good. Really, really not good.
Horrifying. Anyways, she says to him, I almost told her today, for all of my anger, you're right not to trust me because I almost told her. I even hinted, hoping she'd catch on. And then she's, I want her to know. I want her to see Brennan. I want her to be on our side. And then he's so sweet.
No, he really could be way more mad at her about this.
No, there's no reproach at all. There's no judgment. He just kind of holds her face,
Yeah.
And Violet says, I feel heavy. I don't have anyone who knows who I really am anymore. The guy I consider my best friend nearly got us killed. I'm keeping secrets from Rhiannon, from my sister, from you. There's not a single person in the world I'm entirely truthful with. And he says to her, I haven't exactly made it easy for you to trust me, but you and I are not easy people. What we build together has to be strong enough to withstand a storm or a war. Easy isn't going to give us that. I think that's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's also a great point.
It's a great point.
Takes it in.
Yeah. She says here that she she should have told him that she was reading into the wards. She knew that he would not be happy about it and she probably would have done it anyways, but she could have at least told him. And he says, yeah, I know, basically you didn't because I don't tell you everything.
Yeah.
So he says you're allowed to have secrets. That's the point. I'd prefer they not risk everything I've worked toward for the last few years or your life. And yes, I'm still not happy about the scribe, but we're not fighting tonight. I just need to know the important things. I won't withhold information that could change how you make decisions. And I ask the same of you.
Yeah.
So then she asks him, how long will you hold on to the weapons for? And he says, I won't meet up with the drift for another couple of weeks. And she's like, you answered.
Yeah, because you finally are asking questions.
And then he says, how did it go with Varish? And she says, Tairn nearly ripped out Solus's throat, which worked for getting Indarna out of maneuvers, but may end up causing me bigger problems in the future. Again, something he should know. So I'm glad she told him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And he's like, I'm slightly worried I'll kill Varish if he pushes you to burn out again. Anyways, we all wish he would.
Yeah, please come and kill him.
She asks why he left her that weaving book, which you mentioned, right? And the strips of fabric and stuff. She's like, you thought I might just want to take up crafting? And he's like, I just thought you need to keep your hands a bit busy.
Yeah.
So she could keep them off other cadets.
Yes. That's what he's saying is the reason, but I'm still like, is this it?
But then he says, I just thought you might like to explore an aspect of Tirish culture. I can weave every knot in that book. It'll be fun to see if you can keep up with me. And she's like, in fabric knots? Like this, to her, this sounds like arts and crafts, right?
Yeah.
Little kid stuff. And he says, culture violence.
Yeah.
And then he gets serious and asks about nightmares about Ress. And she's like, yes, I dream of a million different ways we could have lost. Sometimes I dream it's Imogen who dies, or Garrick, or you.
Yeah.
And then he hugs
sad.
her. He actually rolls her so that her back's against him.
Yeah.
And tucks her close. And I'm sure she appreciates that. It's a little better than being all alone and dreaming nightmares, whatever.
Yeah.
But he says to her, I know who you really are, Violet. Even when you keep things from me, I know you.
Yeah. And she's just thinking about the interrogation, which is fair. This is scary.
Well, because she knows so much, she could put everything in risk.
Yeah, but it's not like they're gonna know what to ask you in theory. Unless
Except
it's Varish.
for Varish is telling him what to ask. You never know, right?
Yeah, unless Varish is the one doing it.
She's scared about her shields, and he's like, you're doing good. But she's like, yeah, but I can't keep you out. And he's like, yeah, well, don't use that to measure your, how good you are, basically.
Yeah.
He says, the day you can successfully block me all the way out is the day I'm dead. We're both dead. I can't block you out entirely either, which is how you found me that last time.
Yeah.
So he's like saying, don't use that. And so she thinks, so I might be strong enough to block Dane? And he says, yes, if you keep the shields intact at all times. And then she asks him this question, what's alloy made of? Because she wants, she wants to know. No, she wanted to make sure she was strong enough to keep out Dane before she found out this information. And he says, an amalgamation of tellurium, a few other ores, not very specific, and dragon eggshells.
The important bit. Definitely
that is
the important bit.
And he says they're metal and still carry magic long after the dragons hatch.
It's also very interesting that they're metal.
I'm fascinated.
How do they get out of them?
Coming out of...
You must be very... But you see, it just... They didn't have claws. So how do they get out?
I don't know.
Like, she didn't have claws as a feather tail. I mean, she had teeth.
Maybe this dragon species, these dragons are different. Maybe at a certain point, no. I was gonna say they, like the moms or whatever, knocked them out, but no.
like open it up.
Open it up for them. Like, here you go, buddy, come out. No.
But that doesn't really make that much sense. Like, there's a reason that they have to wait till they're strong enough to get out. But
this is magical world. It could literally be just time and the egg cracks open.
I guess so.
But that's interesting. I never thought about that. Also, it's weird to think of them as metal when they're being made by a dragon and coming out of a dragon, and they're metals. Somehow, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's fascinating.
They're magical.
They
magical. They can also breathe fire, so who knows what's going on inside them.
Why are we breaking this down? He says, now go to sleep before I forget all my honorable intentions. And she said, I could remind you of some very fun, very dishonorable ones. He says, you want to give me those 3 little words? And he's like, I thought not. Sleep, Violet, you love me.
And then,
I love it when he says that.
I know. And then she's like, stop reminding me. And then he's like, maybe you're not the one I'm reminding. And I'm like, oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
But she does fall asleep, it looks like.
Yes.
She's getting luring, his warmth is luring her into that slumber.
Yeah, thank God. She needs some sleep.
Well, that was it.
Yeah. Those were good chapters. Terrifying.
It's funny, I was so patient when you went 2 chapters at a time in Fourth Wing. And I'm so not in Iron Flame. I'm just dying to get to my favorite part.
Yep.
And I'm also dying to see how the chapters fall on some of these things. And I just want us to go faster.
Yeah. We're not even halfway through the book yet. I have a thought about something that happened earlier that I thought of again when I was editing the episode about why there was an air wielder with Nolan.
Okay.
Because then I started talking about how maybe they have a Venin that they're trying to bring back, because he talked about mending a soul.
Okay.
And I was thinking maybe the air wielder was doing magical CPR. And that's why they needed an air wielder. Forcing the air in and out.
Yeah, I love
magical
that.
CPR. So there you go.
Why would they need to give CPR to a Venin if they're just trying to heal his soul?
Well, I can't imagine it's going well.
Okay, fair enough. I love this. That was very good. So now, before we go on to the socials, we do have a review. Okay, so this is Lil G, and she says, hey, I love your podcast. It's been so fun to relive the books through y'all. My favorite part of the show is when Brianna makes spot-on predictions and Kendra tries her best to not confirm. So, anyways, thank you so much for sending that. If you do happen to have Spotify and you want to leave a comment, or Apple Podcasts and you want to, put a review on, that does help us get seen by more people.
Yeah, you should give us 5 stars. You don't have to write the review up, but you should give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to us on.
Yeah. We are definitely getting more and more listeners as we go, which is really nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes hard. It's a challenge in the podcast world to get out there because, unless you're paying for advertising, unless you're paying to advertise your own podcast, which we're not doing because this is literally something we do for fun on our spare time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not making money. We don't have ads for you guys, whatever, to have to skip through like I do with all my podcasts. But, so it's not whatever. So it's not easy to get out there, but people do love this whole franchise. So if you help us spread the word by like commenting and rating and reviewing and stuff, that helps.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can have a group to chat with about your nerdy book stuff. Especially if you don't have anyone in your life you can do that with.
Yeah. And that gives us another point to bring up the Discord. Which is kind of a sad channel right now. But listen, if you guys like Discord and you want to be able to even say things like, listen, this is what I want you guys to do on Discord. This is what I want from you. I want you to go on and I want you to go to the spoiler chat where Brianna can't and I want you to be on there with me so I can say things like, oh my God, did you hear what Brianna said? And you can be like, I know. Because I can't do that with Brianna. So I need people to like help with me. I do have my sister every once in a while she has to catch up on all the things, but then she'll sometimes call me be like, wow, that was so crazy when Brianna said that, But, I could use some of you guys to just help me out on this, give me like your ear when I want to be like, whew, did I sound good? Did I give anything away? Anyways.
Yeah. And now that we have a actual usable link.
Yeah. It is
join.
It is in the description. And I just need to thank the listener who gave us that. She reached out to me on Threads, I think, and pointed out that it wasn't usable. And then not only did she point it out, she told me how to fix it because I was like, I don't know what to do about it. And she like literally gave instructions and it was very nice. I really appreciate that.
Yes. Reach out for doing more things wrong.
Tell us more things we're doing wrong. We appreciate it. Okay, cool.
Okay, we also have our socials, which you should follow if you're going to MegaCon Orlando because we will post where and what time our panel is going to be.
Yeah.
So it's Instagram and Threads at First Wing Pod. Again, rating and reviewing really helps our podcast. And yeah,
that's it.
We hope to see you there. We're going to record it. Hopefully it comes out okay.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
We do have a microphone, although. Yeah. Okay, good.
We'll have to see. New adventures.
Okay, good. So next episode, we're going to cover chapters 21 and 22.
Join us next time, writers.
Bye.
Bye.